Hi there, and welcome to Mommy and Me Homeschool Life. I'm Bianca, a homeschooling mom on a journey to teach, learn, and grow alongside my little one. On this channel, I share our weekly homeschooling adventures, fun activities, creative ideas, and practical tips and discussions for parents who want to make learning at home a joyful experience. Whether you're already homeschooling or just curious about the journey, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. We're new to the experience and we're still choosing extracurricular activities, so we don't have a solid daily schedule or routine yet, but I'll share our routine once we've figured it out. This is our first week where dad is back to work and our first week of doing focused learning activities in actual workbook. So we're still figuring things out, but I'm pretty happy with how things went. For term one, the theme is exploring the world around us, and our letter and shape of the week was A and triangles. For language arts, we're learning about the letters A to G, we're singing the alphabet song daily, and we're focusing on letter sounds and basic vocabulary for nature words and the world around us. For numbers, we're learning to count with focus on numbers 1 to 5, and we're practicing number recognition. For an introduction to mathematics, we're learning about one shape each week, learning simple patterns and grouping activities. Since kids can absorb multiple languages at once, depending on the amount of exposure they get, I opted for Afrikaans since it's our home language, English since the shows she watches are in English, and French and Xhosa as additional languages. For French and Xhosa, which are the two languages that will take more focused learning as she doesn't hear them frequently in daily life, we're starting the journey with basic greetings, words for nature, colors, and simple sentences. And lastly, for life skills and arts, we're practicing our fine motor skills with coloring, cutting, and pasting, developing our sensory awareness with exploration of nature and different textures, and practicing our gross motor skills with running, jumping, climbing, and dancing, for example. So let's check out Monday's workbook for those looking for activity ideas and how those went. Find and dot the letters. Complete the pictures. Trace and dot the letter A. Count and match the object and numbers. Complete the flower with triangles. Paste and paint. French greetings and basic phrases. French words for nature. For our first day, I decided to focus on the letters A to D. Before starting the activity, I tried to do the letter sounds and have her repeat it back with me. Don't be fooled by her initial neat dot work on the Find the Letters activity. I had to restrain her from coloring a hole in the page for the rest of them. Since the theme is exploring the world around us, for the Complete the Picture activity, I opted for nature and everyday objects, while still sticking to my A to D focus. It was our first time using glue, so Mom's patience and her coordination was tested vigorously, but we got through it with my blood pressure levels only lightly elevated. She's still figuring out how to use the glue, so there's not much glue on there, and she doesn't look at the picture before trying to paste it, so they don't fit perfectly. But we're both still learning, so I'm happy with how she fared. I could sense she was getting over the focused learning activity, so I decided to give her a break and do some activities that is just for fun, so we moved on to the pasting activities. Since the shape of the week is a triangle, we practiced our pasting coordination with making a flower with triangles. Needless to say, the flower looked pitiful and near the end of its life, but again, participation trumps perfection. We then did the paste and paint activity, and again, she's still figuring out the glue, so her pasting isn't on point, but she loves the painting. Don't even bother giving a variety of colors, by the way, they just choose one and stick with it anyway. She insisted I join her, so we turned it into a fun shared experience. During her morning snack time, I let her watch TV so I can get some housework done. And since we're learning different languages, I put on some French children's songs for her to watch, since our focus on Mondays and Tuesdays will be French. After her snack, when she's had a bit of a break, I decided to try some more focused learning activities, and since the letter of the week is A, we traced A and dotted it with finger paint. The tracing went swimmingly, but again, don't be fooled by her dot work. After the first few, she started going wild. But alas, I opted for participation instead of perfection. That overwhelmed both her and myself, and I decided we both needed some fresh air, so we went out into the garden for some gardening and water play. She adores being outside, and I needed to plant some beetroot and carrots, so I got her involved, which worked out great for us both. I had a few other things I had to get done around the house, so I made an easy cutting activity I found online, which she flew through and asked for more. So I just stuck the pieces she cut back together, which brought me about another 5 minutes. While working on completing her activities for the next day, I let her sit with me at the table, cut off a large piece from the roll of paper we have, drew a flower, and encouraged her to color it with me, which she did for about 2 minutes and then proceeded to just ask me what I was busy with and asked me, "What's that?" more times than I cared to mention. After her lunch, I decided we should finish our workbook for the day, so we moved on to the count the objects and number match activity, which she got through easily and which surprised me because we've never done object match activities by drawing a line. But again, I'm happy with the end result, and it's definitely an activity I'll try and include every day since she remains engaged throughout. We attempted to read a book together, but after shushing me, she proceeded to repeat the one phrase she knows from this particular book while apparently following along with her finger. Bombastic, bombastic, bombastic. She enjoyed repeating the French greetings I showed her, but I'm still figuring out how to teach the French in Kosa apart from her watching French shows or listening to French songs. She enjoys repeating the words when I do my French on Duolingo, so I'm considering just using that for her French education, but sadly Duolingo doesn't offer Kosa, which I really want her to learn since we live in South Africa. Now let's check out Tuesday's workbook. Find and dot the letters. Complete the pictures. Color the letter A. Circle the number groups. Complete the pattern. Paste and paint. French colors and basic sentences. Tuesday was a rough day. I had personal appointments and we had to deal with losing a pet, so the day wasn't well structured and I forgot to record a lot of it. But here's how it went. For the find the letter activity, restraint was again necessary to prevent her from coloring a hole through the page. Practicing our pasting with the complete the picture activity went about as well as expected, which is not well at all. But she's still young, so I remain hopeful. For color the letter A, she understood the assignment initially, but it soon turned into color the entire page. I am at least happy that she can recognize the letter A. For snack time, she got to watch some TV, and I found a cool YouTube channel for learning French called Miss Mimi, which is quite similar to Miss Rachel and my Tani Bianca videos. Circle the number groups is what I forgot to record, and it was fun and went well until it didn't. So I decided to take another break from the focused learning activities and gave her the cutting activity again. I used the same board as the Monday and just added different colors to save materials, I guess. She asked that we draw on her whiteboard, so I indulged, and as usual, she requested a figure and she then commands me what to draw on him next. Don't be fooled, I drew the stick figure, and she's just started figuring out how to add to it herself by watching me do it, so today she opted for freakishly long fingers and toes. Again, we did some paste and paint because she enjoys it and I get 5 minutes to quickly unload and load the dishwasher by myself. Fun fact, I now know why so many chocolate brands have purple wrapping paper. Because besides being offered an entire color palette to choose from, she only uses purple. Complete the pattern was an absolute write-off. She figured out how to make the glue go in and out by twisting the end, so that's all she wanted to do, and she didn't pay attention to my instructions at all. I made 3 separate attempts to get her to engage with it, and she just blatantly refused. Since it was a rough day, I decided that I'll be holding off on that one for a while and introducing it in another way when we're both ready for the challenge. Let's move on to Wednesday's workbook. Match the upper and lowercase letters. Trace the letter A. Paste and paint. Find and dot the numbers. Match the color triangle to the corresponding object. Patterned line tracing. Causa greetings and basic sentences. Causa words for nature. I had to pop to the shop, which is a fun outing for her since she gets her own trolley and feels like she's in charge. And there's a cute little bus ride she likes to sit and play in for a bit afterwards. Before starting the letter activities today, I decided to do some letter flashcards. For the match the upper and lowercase letters activity, I focused on letters A to D again, and these match activities are winners. They're easy enough to do, and she enjoys them a lot. We did another trace the letter A with both lower and uppercase, which she again enjoyed, and I'm very impressed with how well she did with them so far, despite not doing it before this week. We did the paste and paint activity again, and again, every fruit was the same color. And yes, you guessed it, that color is purple. She had her snack time, and then afterwards I gave her the same cutting board again. I just added another color. She played in her room for a while with her blocks, animals, and puzzles, and then after lunch we got back into focused learning activities. Also, before starting the number activities, we did an object and number puzzle, and then we did find and dot the numbers, but only up to 3 because I found that her intention only lasts for about 3 of these. I also covered the other 2 to keep focus on the first block. For our shape of the week activity, I opted for a match the color triangle with the object. At first, every time I asked where is the corresponding triangle on the right hand side, she kept pointing to the one on the left, but eventually we figured it out and she got them all easily enough except for the ice cream, which is quite ironic. She quite enjoyed the help the bees home for the traces the dotted line activity. She struggled to stay on the line, so I helped her a bit, and then she insisted I help her with the rest, which is fine because she's still learning. Wednesdays and Thursdays we do Causa, which is a learning experience for us both. She didn't engage much with the workbook activity and I was exhausted, so I decided to let it go for the day and move on to just some free play. We built her ocean creatures puzzles and her sloth puzzle, and don't be fooled by how well she's packing away the puzzle pieces afterwards. Early in the day, we had an hour and a half Mexican standoff of wills when she refused to pack away the blocks she had strewn throughout her room. We played some ball outside, practicing her kicking and throwing, and then she had some fun in the sand while I folded the 3 piles of laundry that's been taunting me since the weekend. And then, thankfully, Dad got home to give me a quick break before starting supper. Thursday's activities were interesting, so let's have a look. Alphabet maze, match the upper and lowercase letters, paste and paint, count the triangles and trace the numbers, find and dot the triangles, stick the dinosaurs in the triangles, cause our colors and basic sentences. We started the letter activities with flashcards again, and for our first activity of the day, we had to help the monkey to the bananas by tracing the A's. She enjoyed this one a lot and did well on her own once I got her started with some assistance. Since the match the upper and lowercase was such a hit on Wednesday, we did it again with letters D to G. We started the number activities with the object and number puzzle again also, and then we tried to count the triangles and trace the numbers. But she got overwhelmed quickly and I decided to leave it at first and come back to it later, which didn't go much better, I'm afraid. But when we moved on to the paint and paste, she enjoyed herself again and it went about the same as usual. And don't be fooled by the variation in color. I did the pink, the purple was all her. She loves pasting stickers, so the stick the dinosaur and the triangles activity was fun. Initially, she wanted to paste them wherever she wanted, including the dog, but I turned it into a story which got her to paste most of the rest in the triangle. She got to watch some TV, so I put on some Causa nursery rhymes, and to my surprise, she enjoyed them and tried to sing along until she got over it and started playing with her busy board. I let her help me unload the dishwasher, and then she decided to make some music, or as I like to call it, noise, before we got back into our focused learning activities. Find and dot the triangles also didn't go as well as expected, but she was in a fussy to find mood this day, so we got through it as best we could and finished off our activities by building the sloth puzzle again. It's her favorite at the moment, as you can see. We had our first dance class, which she loved and which gave me a workout too. And afterwards, we had a play date with her friends at the park to get the last bit of energy out for the day. Fridays, I decided to not do focused learning activities and keep it open for nature exploration and arts and crafts. We started our day with a walk along the beachfront promenade and a visit to the park to exercise her gross motor abilities. She played in the sand while I hung up the washing, and then we started with our arts and crafts activities. Since the letter of the week is A, our first activity was decorating an eagle. The materials we used was a drawing of an A-shaped eagle that I made, glitter glue tubes, colored feathers, and craft glue. She struggled a bit with squeezing the glitter glue and craft glue out, but all in all she enjoyed the activity and I was quite pleased with our end result. The second activity we did was crafting a lace craft acorn. The material we used was colored paper, cardboard, twine, sellotape, scissors, which I used, a hole punch, and a pencil or marker. We started by tracing my hand, and while I was cutting it out, I let her make holes in the leftover colored paper. I then cut the cardboard and made the holes for lacing. The sellotape was to bind the end of the twine that she laces with. She enjoyed the lacing and did well, but she got over it after a while, so I finished it off. To finish the acorn, we used the craft glue to stick the lace part onto the hand, and voila, we made a lace craft acorn. She was so proud of her crafts, and I was too. We had friends come over the evening, so the rest of the afternoon she spent playing in the sprinkler and she cut tomatoes from our garden to help. But in all honesty, it was just to keep her and Dad busy and out of my hair while I made the salad for the evening. Thanks so much for spending time with us here on Mommy and Me Homeschool Life. I hope you found inspiration and ideas to make your homeschooling journey even more exciting. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more weekly updates, tips, and activities. I'd love to hear from you, so leave a comment below and share your thoughts or any questions. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and cherish every moment.